Hello again, I'm Blunty. Now, fisheye lenses, to be honest, I've never really been a fan of them historically, partly because I didn't like the distorted aesthetic, partly because they're horribly overused by skegs and the baggy jeans brigade, the skateboarders and parkour filmers, filming these talented athletes in situations that would otherwise be served better by choosing a different lens. But no! It's all about the fisheye lens with these guys. They don't think about any other lens but the fisheye lens, and it's kind of frustrating on a personal level. And frankly, it's partly because of personal ignorance. I've never really shot that much with them. I've never really understood how to use them effectively. And I've never owned a decent one. But in recent years, I've been warming up to the fisheye lens. I've bought and played with a couple of different iPhone attachment sticky-on-y things, and I've reviewed them, I've recommended them to you guys, and I'm starting to really enjoy the challenge of shooting with a fisheye lens and the unique perspective it offers on the world around us. So as you may have guessed by now, I've actually bought myself a proper fisheye lens, and it is this bugger right here. Let me show you.
Haha, movie magic. Anyway, it's branded Bauer, but it also gets emblazoned with the Samyang brand, depending on where it's sold. There are also a couple of other brands it goes by too, but it always looks like this, and Bauer and Samyang are the most common brands you'll find it under. It's a 7.5mm f3.5 fisheye lens built for the Micro Four Thirds camera system, and I've been using it with my Olympus Pen EP3, with some very encouraging results, as I'll show you in a moment. Build quality is absolutely superb, built with high quality plastic on a metal mount and with very tight tolerances, so there's no sloppiness or wiggle anywhere on it at all. The focus wheel is buttery smooth throughout the entire range, and the aperture ring feels sturdy and clicks confidently into place. It has a built-in petal type lens hood and a large cupped lens cap which fits nice and securely. As is typical for Samyang lenses, it's a fully manual lens, so no autofocus, no camera controlled aperture and no EXIF data. Shooting with a fully manual lens can be intimidating to some people. I say people and not photographers, because if you're scared to go fully manual, I don't think you deserve the title of photographer, you pussy. But thanks to the nature of fisheye lenses, it's actually one of the easiest types of lens to use fully manual. Mostly this is because of the very large depth of field, which makes manual focus a snap. In fact, unless you're shooting something really close up, most of the time you can just zone focus, and everything from a meter or two out to infinity will be in focus just fine, and you never need to worry about it. But when it comes to focusing close, you can focus in to just about touching the front of the lens, about 9 or 10 centimeters in fact, which can lead to some very interesting compositions with striking foreground interest and, even surprisingly, some quite pleasant background blur. The 7.5mm focal length on the Micro Four Thirds body gives you the 35mm equivalent of a 15mm lens, and the field of view here is pretty close to 180 degrees, so you've got to be pretty mindful of where your hands are and where your feet are, because it's actually really easy to ruin an otherwise decent shot with unexpected knuckle or finger or knee or foot. But again, sometimes that's actually useful. You can kind of bring the photographer behind the camera into the shot for an interesting perspective. Anyway, of course, being a fisheye lens, there's also lots of barrel distortion, and straight lines will bow and bend significantly. But in the case of fisheye lenses, this is actually part of the aesthetic you want, not a case of unwanted optical distortions and aberrations. In video, this fact will be even more apparent, because as you pan or move, or people and objects move across the frame, they will warp and bend differently, depending on where they are. The lens does a superb job at helping to keep colour saturated and contrast crisp, and it remains shockingly sharp all the way from its wide open aperture of 3.5 to around f11. After that, diffraction starts to mar the image quality just a little bit, but not so much as to make it useless. But frankly, outside of testing purposes, I never actually needed to close the aperture down that far anyway. If you are a pixel peeper, and you people know who you are, you will find a little chromatic aberration wide open. It's not that severe, and after 5.6 it becomes a non-issue anyway. So all that technical nitty-gritty and performance aside, the Bauer blew me away. It cost me less than half of what Panasonic's 8mm Lumix G Micro Four Thirds fisheye lens would have, and from what I've seen of that lens online, the Bauer kinda kicks its teeth in a bit. And there's also a bit of throat stomping thrown in for free when you consider the bang for buck equation. It's compact, it's lightweight, it's built to last, it feels very pleasant to use, optically it's fantastic, it's tack sharp, distortion is managed well, it even handles direct flare from the sun without a care in the world. And it's one of the most affordable lenses you can get for the Micro Four Thirds system. And most importantly, I've been having fun shooting with it, and I have felt rewarded by its performance. Some of the images I took while testing this new tool in my arsenal have become some of my favourites I've ever taken, in fact. This isn't a borrowed review unit. I purchased this for my own personal use, and not for a single heartbeat have I regretted it. It's earned a permanent place in my kit bag alongside lenses which cost more than 3 times as much. So if you are a Micro Four Thirds shooter and you've been looking around for a fisheye, you really need to check out this lens. It is amazing value for money. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I'll catch you next time.